Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button and keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. All right, folks, here we have after market close on Tuesday, September 5th. We're going to take an updated look at CGC. So these stocks, these cannabis stocks, apparently getting a bump today from this report that Biden supports legalization for medical use. There's several stories out there. We won't worry about reading through them on the video, but rather come in and focus on where we are with our chart. And so we'll take a look here since we've boomed out of the range that we were in, and we'll take a look here at the Thinkorswim setup as well to see where things are situated in the channel and with that study. Now, nice that we can get rid of this downtrend. It's irrelevant at this point, and as it previously broke through this downtrend and found ultimate support here around 38.30, we can get rid of that one as well. Now, when's the last time we were in this 68-ish range? We have a decent amount of price action here. So I'm going to hone in there, and because I don't think it'll really get in our way, I'm going to leave these levels down here. I know the bulls will really hope that we don't need them, but again, when we zoom in to take a closer look, they're not going to be in our way, so I'm just going to leave them there for now and put some levels in like so. Just seeing where candles tended to find or commonly flip from support to resistance in both directions. Okay. As in an effort to not clutter the chart too much initially, I'm going to start there and see how we look on the 10 and see if we want to add anything in. So, okay, so based on those levels we just put in, as you would see today, it came in here in a range that we didn't put anything in, but we can add some in based on these couple of days of action. But in the meantime, came in, found nice support, tried to stretch up 2 levels, came down, reconfirmed support on the mid level, the one that it bypassed, tried to stretch up to that 7.221 level, couldn't quite get there, and then just kind of settled into that 6.642 basing zone, though it did, of course, push a little bit into close. But you see volume really centered around those first few hours of trading, and then took a significant dip after that. Now, if we zoom out a little bit here, I want to see what levels we can try to snag. Okay, that is a very good one. 5385. That one's super important here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here. Okay, so to me, that one will be critical if it does move back down to see if that can provide, just as we were talking about before on the daily, sort of an ultimate support level. Don't know, but we'll see. So several pretty decent levels in here I think are probably worth having on if it's going to spend some time in this range. If not, then we'll ditch some of them to kind of clean up the chart. But this is the 10-minute chart as I will have it going into tomorrow, and I don't know why that put that there. We'll sort of see how things take shape from there. There's a pretty big range here based on the levels that we just put in, so I don't think it's too cluttered to grab another level to here. Let's see, I'm trying to see. Okay, this is the right. Let me see if this is a little better or not. Yeah, that's a little better. Okay. It's a little bit dicey from that 6768 up to that 6959. So I'm interested to see if something sort of takes shape here around like 6830 or so. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of standing out to me mostly later in the day, but not a lot to confirm it back here, in my opinion. Now, just keep in mind as we flip over to Thinkorswim, we put these levels on the daily and then on the 10. This is going to give us a view of the 1 hour. Okay, so still CGC, but this is the 1 hour time frame. Now, we see as it has been picking up steam the last few days, and it had this lengthy trigger period and then it started to fire and spent a bunch of hours flat, and then when it took off, it really took off. This candle was down here in the 40s or so, maybe even almost in the 30s. Don't know, not quite sure, but right around 40, and stretched up out of the channel, used essentially the upper bound of the channel as support and just pushed off it. Those are really incredibly strong motions. And as you see that, the bullish momentum just picking up. Did not matter throughout this whole stretch that it was spending time in overbought land on RSI. I've said it before, stocks get into overbought territory, they can stay there. It's not a standalone indicator of anything. Oversold, same thing. Just because it's oversold doesn't mean anyone has to or will be coming in to buy. Now came in here and again just bounced off the upper bound of that channel. Now yesterday, or I guess the last trading day, so last Friday, it had a bit more of a sobering day where it pulled into the channel and didn't quite stretch to the bottom, but certainly had lost the mid-range, this bright blue line in the middle, which can sometimes be concerning. And you had a couple of trigger candles here, and then it started to fire and move sideways again. So similar to what it did here, fired after a lengthy trigger, fired and just moved sideways, and then but when it moved, it really moved. So similar here, even though it was a 2-candle trigger, it moved sideways, relatively sideways, and then when it moved, it really moved. And then it flipped, obviously, from that bearish momentum on the TTM squeeze to bullish, and finished the day really strong, continuing in that bullish range, and continuing to stretch into overbought territory on the RSI. But I mean, really strong motions. At some point, I would expect another motion like this that at least comes down and finds support or sticks itself, tries to build a base over that mid-range. I don't know if it'll dip below like this again. It's probably going to depend, as it seems lately, on what these news stories are, because that seems to be the catalyst. And so insofar as that's the case, if there's some perception of negative news, maybe you could sort of see some reverse action there. We may need to pick up on some of these support levels if that's the case. But in the meantime, if it continues really strong bullish news, there could certainly be some, days of activity where it's stretched outside of the upper bound of the channel. We've seen it with several other stocks, but again, at some point, I would expect it to return to the mid-range and at least test it. And that mid-range won't be here by the time that happens. It will be somewhere else, because every time a candle gets put in, this channel shifts not only the upper and the lower bound, but then the mid-range as well. All right, folks, I hope your trading week got off to a good start today. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.